In the spring of 2015, unknown individuals broke into the home of Denise Huskins and her boyfriend, Quinn. Aaron was tied up, and Denise was abducted. She was released 2 days later. Once free, she reported what had happened to the authorities, but the police didn't believe her. On March 22nd, Denise was at her boyfriend Aaron Quinn's home in Vallejo. It was a typical evening. They had pizza for dinner and drank a little. The couple also had a fight. Denise found messages from Aaron's ex-fiancée, Andrea, on his phone, in which he said he wanted to rekindle their relationship. Denise saw this as emotional cheating and asked him to communicate with Andrea only for work matters. All three worked together in the rehabilitation department of a local medical center and crossed paths regularly. At 3 a.m, Aaron woke up to a bright light shining in his face. An unknown man had broken into the house and ordered him to lie face down on a pillow, instructing Denise to tie Aaron's hands behind his back with zip ties. The man put swimming goggles covered with tape on Aaron, along with headphones, and played a recording of wind chimes. The intruder warned that he would measure Aaron's blood pressure and give him a sedative. When Aaron asked for a blanket because he was cold, the man replied, "Sorry, I didn't think it'd be this cold here. We're wearing wetsuits." While Aaron lay on the bed, Denise was seated on the couch. Through the chimes, Aaron heard the intruder say, "We have a problem. This isn't Andrea." Aaron's ex-fiancée had moved out back in September 2014. Even though they had come for someone else, they still kidnapped Denise. Before leaving, the same voice informed Aaron that they expected a ransom of $15,000. To keep Aaron from going to the police, they told him they'd install a camera in his room, and that if he disobeyed, his girlfriend would suffer. The last thing Aaron remembered before passing out from the sedative was the sound of his car's engine starting as the kidnappers drove off with Denise. Aaron regained consciousness 6 hours later. The carpet edges were marked with red tape, a boundary he was forbidden to cross. A video camera was watching him from the corner of the room. He received a message on his phone. The ransom had increased to $17,000. Aaron didn't have that much money and replied that he could only manage $3,500. After that, there were no more messages. After hours of waiting, worried about Denise's life, Aaron finally went to the police. However, the police nearly sent him to jail. During questioning, Aaron recounted all the details of the kidnapping: the wetsuits, the headphones, the care shown by the kidnappers who covered him with a blanket. He also mentioned that he only heard one voice but suspected there were multiple kidnappers. Aaron also explained the argument he and Denise had had over his ex-fiancée. This last detail was what the police found most interesting, especially after Andrea herself told them that Aaron had tried to kiss her several times at work following their breakup. The rest of Quinn's account seemed fabricated to the police, leading them to conclude that during the argument, Aaron had killed Denise and was now trying to stage her disappearance as a kidnapping. Aaron spent 18 hours at the police station, with officers urging him to confess to his girlfriend's murder. Suspicions that Aaron was a cold-blooded killer vanished on Tuesday, March 24th, when a journalist at the San Francisco Chronicle received an audio file. In the recording, a woman spoke calmly.
"My name is Denise Huskins. I've been kidnapped, but I'm okay."
To prove the recording was recent, Denise read out a fresh news headline about a plane crash in the Alps. To verify her identity, she shared that her first concert had been a Blink-182 show. On the night of March 23rd, a tied-up Denise lay in the trunk of her boyfriend's car, which the kidnappers had driven away. Like Aaron, she wore taped-up swimming goggles. After some time, under threats, Denise was forced to climb into the trunk of another car. Based on the engine sound, she guessed it might have been a Mustang. She tried to memorize other sounds to help her locate herself, but she was also given a sedative and soon passed out. Denise woke up when the car stopped, sensing that they were in a pine forest. The kidnapper guided her into a house, seated her on a bed, and said,
"You're here by mistake. Andrea was supposed to be here."
He explained that he was part of an illegal organization that kidnapped people for ransom. He told Denise that she would be released within 48 hours and that Aaron had already received instructions on what to do for her release. The goggles remained on Denise, but her captor behaved humanely, and as she later recalled, even caringly. He took me to the bathroom regularly, holding my hands, and told me about his struggles with insomnia and PTSD from his military service. Denise recounted about her first day in captivity. But by evening, the kidnapper came into the room where Denise was lying and said,
"There's a problem. We have no guarantee that you won't talk to the police once we let you go."
He told Denise. "So one of us will have sex with you, and we'll record it. Then, if we suspect you've gone to the police, we'll post the video online." He added that he himself would be the one to do it and promised he would be gentle. The next day, the kidnapper warned that his associates would soon be arriving and asked Denise to pretend to be asleep and avoid interacting with them, explaining, "They're not as nice as I am." Denise heard a car pulling up, footsteps in the house, and people talking to her captor. After this, her guard returned to her room and recorded a proof of life audio message in which Denise stated her name and confirmed she'd been kidnapped. Denise later recalled that before recording, she was given another sedative, resulting in a detached and monotonous tone in the recording. The proof of life recording wasn't the end of it. The man told Denise that his accomplices were dissatisfied with the first video taken the previous night, so they would need to make another. This time, however, it had to look consensual. A few hours after the second assault, the kidnapper announced it was time for Denise to go home. He seated her in the front seat, forced her to take another sedative, and said he wouldn't return her to Vallejo because there was too much police presence there. Instead, he would drop her off in Huntington Beach, where her parents lived, over 600 kilometers from Vallejo. The criminal imposed 2 conditions for her release. She was not to mention that he and his accomplices were military veterans, nor that he had had sex with her. If she broke her promise, he warned, he would kill her and her entire family. As Denise stepped out of the car in Huntington Beach, despite the tape over her eyes, she managed to see that the vehicle she had been transported in was white. When police arrived at her parents' neighbor's house, where Denise had gone after being released, she recounted everything except the assault. The officers then informed her that the Vallejo district attorney was offering her a deal in exchange for immunity. Denise realized they didn't see her as a victim, but rather as a suspect, and decided to hire an attorney. Her attorney convinced her to disclose the assault and undergo a medical examination. The results corroborated Denise's account, but even this did not sway the investigators. During another interrogation, an FBI agent directly told Denise there were inconsistencies in her story and warned her that lying to federal agents was a crime. However, a few days later, journalists received several emails signed by the kidnappers themselves. The messages included photos of guns and the room where they claimed to have held Denise. In the emails, the abductors identified themselves as 3 acquaintances, 2 of whom were college graduates. In one email, they threatened that if the Vallejo police did not apologize to Denise Huskins and Aaron Quinn, they would orchestrate another kidnapping. Henry Lee, the journalist to whom the kidnappers sent the emails, said he immediately forwarded them to Vallejo police, but received no response. Denise and Aaron's lawyers were convinced that the police had already settled on their version of events, found someone to pin the blame on, and had no intention of pursuing the real culprits. Denise's mother recalled that when Officer Matt Mustard, who had been handling the case from the beginning and had pressured Aaron to confess to murder, learned that her daughter was alive, he began asking questions about how many boyfriends Denise had, how long her relationships lasted, and how often she drank alcohol. In July, Denise's lawyer, Doug Rappaport, received a call from a federal prosecutor informing him that a man connected to Denise's kidnapping was now in custody. He had been arrested after breaking into a home on the other side of the country and attempting to assault a 22-year-old woman in New Hampshire. During a struggle with the woman's father, the attacker fled but left his phone on a table next to the victim's bed. The phone belonged to Matthew Muller, a former Marine and Harvard Law School graduate. He was arrested at his parents' home in South Lake Tahoe, California. Nearby was a white Mustang, and among his belongings were swimming goggles with taped lenses, cameras, a drone, and duct tape. A long blonde hair was stuck to one of the strips of tape. At that point, police didn't know who the hair belonged to. They hadn't heard of Denise Huskins. However, Officer Misty Carrao-Sue, who participated in Muller's arrest, ultimately played a crucial role in cracking the Vallejo kidnapping case. And that concludes our coverage of this tragic story. If you found this video informative or thought-provoking, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on cases like these. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Feel free to share this video with your friends and give it a thumbs up if you found it valuable. Thank you for watching.